Hello, James. Hello. I was born here and I'm back here again. Thank you so much for coming out on these unprecedentedly pivoting times. And it's awesome to be authored by PG Gallery. And that's, a big privilege to be in a posh, flash, real gallery. This is the second response show to David Edgeland I've put on. The first one was in my own studio at home, where I produced a large mural panel work, which had a whole poem written into it, and that was called Teleprompter. This show I haven't lent so heavily on putting the text in. Basically, I've been dealing with I've chosen a mentor. Like, I first met David Edgeland early 90s, and he was doing a national poetry demon tour. And I saw him at some place on Worcester Street. But yeah, I always remembered him. I remembered his Dada-esque kind of postmodern slurry slang rhyme. And then found out that he lives in Dunedin. And when he won the laureateship last year, because I've been on two of his book covers, don't think he asked me either time. But it's an honour, of course. And, you start being lonely and walking the Port Hills and wishing you were James K. Baxter and stuff, because you might have been named after him. And artists self-mythologising and all that stuff. But I like David's work because he kind of synthesises the surrealism and absurdity of the existential crisis of modernity and how to fit in and being oversensitive, and then the multiple characterizations he comes up with in almost a history way. He makes a puppet show out of Kiwiana, and it goes back hundreds of years. And anyway, I actually really love David's poetry. But anyway, he wrote one. I'll keep this brief because I am speaking more tomorrow. But all of this work was done during this year, and a lot of it has been hijacked by the pandemic, as I think it is. And that's evident in a lot of the work. But regardless of what you believe about that, David wrote this poem about me about 10 years ago. So this is a poem David wrote about me, which is odd. It's probably more about David. So it's called Night Patrol in a Psychic Shell Hole. Starters as tamarillo or raw venison, accompanied by the pink babble of tongues at Wanaka or Henderson. A smell of petrol, flash of kebab scimitars, cafe echo of steel strings from just played guitars, sonics of solar wind, cigarillo whiffs puffed from wound down windows of Cuba Street's vintage cars, making as if inside his cranium it's snowing on Mars. Don't get him started on his chainsaw manifesto, where he's making a clearing in the bush, channeling John and Yoko. While watching amphibians leap for the trees, he's got liftoff like a rocket from a silo. And his meat rack skeleton dangles in the breeze, and his press-ganged television is a black hole rush, out of which poison for the rain, for the soul bleeds, decayed to an utter grey crush. Of Jeremy, ooze a go-go, gets inside your blind spot and starts to meet your eye, seizes on micro-dramas and blows them sky high. Peek in at his windows as if disdainful of disease beneath undone flies. But somewhere between stigmata, stigma and smegma, and stick it, mate, he makes you see that niceties can turn out to be lies. The shrunken heads of the modern day psychologies decorate his mantelpiece, singing a cantata. Listen to their tiny cries. Stark is a million-man march to tootle and drum, Ant's track, where he paints on trench coat, cast-off pants, or tarp salvaged from a honey pit. I've never been to a honey in my life. Mary as a muppet beneath facade of filth. With cauliflower ears and virile nose hairs, the twisted vista of the big face that rants. Bag lady style, with the beauty of the health damaged, best seen in unnatural light. Yet sad-eyed, in all too human defiance, a revealed creature of fragile happenstance. He sews in white, tooth and nail, and spiders can. He cobwebs the traps shut under your skin to summon child armies, that's true, of redemption. Then builds butterfly net of red thread to capture abandonment's tremulous dread, until breaking news is finally broken against the needle click of emptiness. He whistles like a tohunga to wake the dead, but when the airbrush has spoken, it is the alien, the other, he has awoken. Out of the scorched earth purple spurts, like smears of bougainvillea blossom, or streaks of monster blob puttied ectoplasm, or brighter bogan camouflage uniform in which a kid slouches, boom, shudder, boom, to ignite the room. A shell-shocked boy soldier whose wounds have been cleansed by maggots, or a coaster, with fathomless levels of ticker, chasing the flow down through the river. Thank you.
Be here tonight, but with all the virus, we didn't even know if we were going to have a show tonight because it depended on what level we were going to be at. So there's a possibility that